This video is the second part of my challenge, Pokemon Sword, without ever evolving any of my Pokemon ever. So make sure to check out the link in the description to the first half of this challenge if you enjoy this one. Also, while you're down there, make sure to subscribe to the channel as it helps out a ton and is completely free. Anyway, enjoy the video. So, after getting obliterated in our first try at Gordy's gym, we decided to give it another try, so we returned to the Pokemon Center to heal up the team a bit and prepare for the gym, doing things such as teaching Shelly the move Razor Shell, which is ironically the same move that Gordy's Barbaracle used on us to chew through our team in the first battle against him that we inevitably lost. We then make our way to have another attempt at his gym. Once challenged by Gordy for the second time in a row, I start having PTSD because the dreaded Barbaracle was back and hungry. But, however, we did now have Razor Shell, which will come in mighty handy while battling him. But, for the second try at this battle, we actually decided to lead with Jerry, as he would be able to take most moves that Barbaracle would use that aren't Razor Shell. And, surprisingly, Revenge did a lot more than I expected from it, considering it isn't super effective, and it took it down to red health. We then were taken out by our biggest weakness, Razor Shell. We then sent out Happy Feet, who got immediately destroyed by Razor Shell, as did Jerry. We then sent in Sir Arthur, because I knew he could take at least one hit of anything that Gordy could throw at us. One stealing later, we take out our arch nemesis, the Barbaracle, and my new least favorite Pokemon, for that matter. Gordy then sends out his Shuckle, to which we responded with Shelly and Razor Shell OHKOing it. His next Pokemon is his Stunjourner, who we take out in one hit as well with another Razor Shell. Looks like we're chewing through his team this time. Lastly is his ace, Colossal, his ace and strongest Pokemon on his team, who we are able to take out in one hit with Razor Shell, earning ourselves our 6th gym badge. Only 2 more to go. We then make our way to the old man on Route 9, just before Spikemuth, received the upgrade to our Rotom bike, allowing it to go on water. We then use it to its fullest potential, making our way to the gym of Spikemuth. We beat Pierre's easily because Jerry one-hit all of his Pokemon with Close Combat and First Impression. We then go immediately back to Hammerlock in order to challenge the Dragon-type specialist Raihan, and beat his challenge as well as the gym, earning ourselves the 8th and final gym badge, allowing us to finally challenge the Champion Cup. But we were pretty underleveled, so first we really needed to grind a bit. But during that grinding, we actually caught ourselves a pretty sweet replacement for our starter, Happy Feet. And as much as it kills me to replace my starter, I had to because Happy Feet was getting a little bit overshadowed by other members of the team. We successfully catch the Chandelure and name it Chandler. Next up was the semifinals of the Champion Cup, which went very smoothly, with Bede coming up first, who we take out easily and move on to the next round. Next up was Nessa, which is another easy win because we had Jeremy, who was able to Thunderbolt most of her team, allowing us to be victorious against her. Making our way to the brackets of the semifinals look like they do on screen just then, and making our way to our next opponent being Bay, who we easily defeat with Star Arthur one-shotting her whole team with a mix of Aerial Aces and Drill Pecks. And lastly, the final gym leader rematch before Leon's battle is Raihan's battle, which was pretty easy because we were able to use Jerome and Jeremy to destroy his Dragon-type team, as they were all weak to Ice and Fairy types. All that said, we seized victory and were ready for the finals with Leon of the Champion Cup. But, as we walked onto the pitch, we were rudely disturbed by a large beam of glowing light coming out of the ground, and interrupting our finals match, and making it so we had to go find Zacian and Zamazenta to figure out what was causing all the ruckus. We then make our way out of the stadium and into the Slumbering Weald. Upon entering the Slumbering Weald, we obtain the Rusted Sword and let Hop take the Rusted Shield, so we are able to summon Zacian and Zamazenta at any time, which will be very useful later on in this challenge. We next make our way to Hammerlock and went to the basement so that we could take on Chairman Rose and beat him using our brand new Chandelure, OHKOing most of his Pokemon with Overheat. After beating him, we went to the top of the Hammerlock Stadium's roof to take on Eternatus. After getting on the roof, we defeat Eternatus in a rather scary battle, but we are able to use Shelly's Ice Fang to take it out and make it turn into the Eternamax form. We then need to call in Zacian and Zamazenta to help us stand a chance in that battle. After getting help from the dogs, we finally secure safely into our grasp by catching him in an Ultra Ball. We ended up not using Eternatus because I didn't see any reason to, and I didn't want to use any legendaries. After all this work, we make our way to Galar champion Leon. So, we make our way onto the stadium to challenge Leon. As we make our way onto the pitch, blood pumping, heart racing, we will win. And our first battle commences, and all we can think is that this will be the battle of the century. And on our first try, we lost. And all we can think that this time, it was not the battle of the century. And we had to reset. So, we had 6 more tries at battling Leon, and we just kept losing. But one time we finally looked out and it happened. Here's how that battle went. First up was his Aegislash, who we take out in one hit with Chandler. Next, we do some chip damage with Sir Arthur into his Haxorus and go into Jerome to finally KO the Haxorus. Next up was the biggest threat and the one I was most scared of, who had taken us out in those other 6 tries the most, who is Dragapult, which we choose to Dazzling Gleam on, but in hope it crits and KOs. But unfortunately, I underestimated the power of this thing, and it burns us to a crisp with Flamethrower. But Jerome, the absolute champion, lives it and gets off the Dazzling Gleam, but the Dragapult barely lives it and gets off another Flamethrower and KOs Jerome. So we go into Chandler, who I completely forgot was a Ghost type, and gets obliterated by Shadow Ball, which was completely my bad. Sorry, Chandler. Next, we went into Shelly, who was able to live the Thunderbolt that this Dragapult throws out of nowhere, I was not expecting, and is able to finally get off the Ice Fang, KOing the Dragapult, our most difficult Pokemon that we had to fight yet. 3 down, 3 more to go. Halfway done. Next up was Mr. Rime, and with our head held high, we had to use this as an opportunity to revive Chandler and heal up Shelly, and take out this Mr. Rime and move on to the Inteleon, the hardest Pokemon of them all. So, we end up leading with Shelly to chip at Inteleon, and I realized that Jaw Lock does very little damage, way less than I thought it would. So, we have to substitute him for Jerry to use as a bodyguard to heal some more, because we didn't want to lose Shelly, as we will need him for the Charizard battle later on. We then were able to finally take out Leon with one last discharge, letting us take the win against the Inteleon and face Leon's last Pokemon and one of his scariest Pokemon, Charizard. So, we switched into Shelly and he sent out his ace, strongest Pokemon of Charizard. We both Dynamax as we head into the most epic battle of the challenge. Charizard uses max growth, and it does a lot of damage, but we do just as much with our max geyser. And I tell you, that max growth I was not expecting. But we are able to match it with our max geyser, and we are then healed by the terrain that was set up by his max grass move. But it unfortunately isn't quite enough for us to live Charizard's next max overgrowth, and Shelly does go down, which was really unfortunate because he was kind of the one that was going to carry the team through this battle. So we then had to go to plan B. We then go into Jeremy and have to revive Shelly with a max revive and get smacked in the face by this giant rock and get knocked out. We then go into Shelly and finally use one last Razor Shell to KO Leon's final Pokemon. It then undynamaxes and it KOs Jeremy. We then need to switch into Shelly and use our final Razor Shell of the challenge to KO Leon's final Pokemon and beat the challenge. And everyone who says that Cynthia is the hardest champion and how everyone is so afraid of her when they battle her, well, you're wrong. Very incorrect. Leon is the hardest and strongest champion in my opinion, and I was so happy once we finally beat him. But that answers my question. Can we beat Pokemon Sword without evolving? One of the most prominent things in the Pokemon game? And the answer is yes. Yes, we can. And everyone, that is how I beat Pokemon Sword without evolving any of my Pokemon ever. So, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel here on the YouTube, and also go to the Twitch and follow my Twitch, as this whole video was streamed completely live on twitch.tv/madcraft1. The link is in the description, so make sure to drop a follow, and with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace!